Hello and welcome back to Fanboys of Gaming podcast. I am one of your two hosts, Christopher.
I'm Michael. Oh yeah, that's right.
What are you? What else are you, Michael?
I'm supposed to tell you the topics, but I forgot. Alright, so we got information on YouTube's streaming. They added some more things to YouTube gaming. We got some things on Valve. One involving the Steam controller and one involving Steam, the store itself. Witcher 3 developer talks about their success and why they did not expect the Witcher 3 to do as well as it did. And then we have some very tasty information on the NX. I'm very excited about this NX information.
Okay, the NX. Okay, for those of you that have not viewed our previous podcast, the NX is the code name for the prototype that Nintendo has in development for their console to replace the Wii U. As we all know, the Wii U was kind of a flop. Not kind of a flop, a very big flop. Its sales figures match those of the Virtual Boy. If you've never heard of the Virtual Boy,
that's
bad. Why.
That's really bad. I didn't know it was that bad. It's not. No.
Yep.
To be fair, figures, we're not saying the Wii U is bad. We're just saying business-wise, it hasn't done well.
It really hasn't. It's Nintendo wanted to go toward that, took a chance on that innovation with the gamepad. Unfortunately, it did not pan out. Didn't go so well, but they acknowledge it, and they are attempting to make a console that supposedly, by rumor, will possibly be more powerful has more power to itself than the PS4, the Xbox One, which I think blows my mind because Nintendo's never been taken seriously for being like hardcore gaming aside from Smash.
Exactly. Or they've never really built a powerhouse system. It's always been more about Mario and Link.
Oh yeah, they've been quoted multiple times saying that it's not so much about how you see the game, it's about how you play the game.
Exactly.
Which is why the Wii didn't have 1080p, which at the time was easy.
Yeah. Now what I want to talk about a little bit with the NX is that they put out the developer kit. And the developer kit is basically the system software or the beta for the system software so developers can start making games for it, which is interesting because I'm not quite sure if these were sent out to just Nintendo owned properties because so far the Wii U didn't get a lot of third-party games. Like
I haven't even seen a Wii U third-party game.
Zombie U is one of the only ones I know of that was third-party. I know there's more, like Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs was supposed to come onto the Wii U. I think it did. But the Wii U just didn't attract developers to want to make games for it.
That gamepad is like a Rubik's Cube.
Exactly.
They're like, we don't know what to do with that.
Exactly. They're like, well, we could put stuff on it, but I don't really know like how to utilize it. Plus, you have to dumb down the game a lot just because the Wii U couldn't handle it. It's not that it's a bad system; it's just physically can't handle it. But this is interesting because they're sending it out, and so people are getting more and more information about it. And from what I've heard, probably rumors, maybe true, we won't know, is that it is highly possible that it will be a hybrid system, and by that I mean it uses a system similar to the PS4 and the PlayStation Vita Remote Play, whereas you have a handheld for the controller and it streams to the TV and vice versa.
Imagine this. This is the way Mike described it to me. And Mike said it to me as if I was a kindergartner. So I mean no offense to our viewers, but I'm going to talk to you guys like you have no idea what we are talking about. So imagine you have a game for your NX and you really love it. So what do? You go to class or college in my scenario, and you bring your Nintendo 3DS. And what do you do when you have a break between classes? You pull out your DS and you stream play your NX game onto your handheld.
From what I understand is it's the handheld streams to the TV, so it's always there on the handheld.
Oh, I didn't know. So wait. So it's an NX game, but it's not streamed to the NX?
It would be technically it would be streamed to the TV. The NX would be technically the NX is a portable handheld that you can stream to the TV, from what I understand.
Oh.
So it's like a 3DS that you stream to your TV.
We never discussed any information on the actual construction of the console. I didn't know it was a handheld.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
From what I
You didn't share
understand
this
is
information.
there's going to be the gamepad. There's still going to be a gamepad. I just don't know if it's going to be that big, colossal one. But it sounds like that will be portable, and it will be able to play whatever the console is able to play, but also be very powerful. So if you took the Wii U gamepad with you somewhere and it was as powerful as a PS4, that'd be pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Granted, that thing's ginormous, but at least that's my understanding. I'm probably wrong, but
I would really love to something fit comfortably in a satchel bag that you could play games on that has more power than an Xbox One or PlayStation 4. I would be extremely impressed.
At this point, just make a Nintendo book. Just make a laptop. Just do it, Nintendo. Just get it over with.
Take a page from Microsoft's book with that Surface book they have.
Yeah, the Surface book. I saw that and I was cracking up. I was like, it's a MacBook clone. It is fun.
It is a MacBook clone.
It looks cool.
Here's what they did with that. They have I have a Surface 3, and I have the keyboard for it. The only thing they did was they took the kickstand off of it and gave it a keyboard that makes it look like a computer. Yeah. All of the power is still in the tablet screen. Mm-hmm. Do not be fooled by the fact that it has a big keyboard. All of the power is in the tablet screen.
And there's only, Apple does it with the iMacs, where the iMac's just a screen, and that's where all the power is.
Yeah, the difference is an iMac is like yay thick.
True.
It has room for electronics.
Exactly. So
it's still not going to be that powerful.
Exactly.
I like my Surface for taking notes, but that's about all it's good for.
Yeah.
That is all it's good for. I tried to work on a Word document and pull up my internet browser, and my internet browser was lagging from just running Microsoft.
I can't do it. Please don't make me.
It has absolutely no power behind it whatsoever. But we're getting off track.
Yes.
The point is, what was the point?
The point was that it seems like they're trying to make a combination of a hybrid. Try to make basically the 3DS, a big 3DS gamepad that works with your TV. That's what it sounds like to me. Which when I say it that way sounds stupid, but
like you said earlier, I think it'd be good if it was smaller.
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty obnoxious for someone to carry around
the gamepad.
Wii U gamepad, essentially.
Ridiculous.
That would be absolutely obnoxious. Like, I'm just gonna comfortably. I'm sitting in like in a cafeteria in college, and what do? I pull out this Gondo piece of plastic.
Pull out one of the slabs the 10 Commandments were written on.
Like it's just this huge piece of concrete. Oh yeah. Who needs games when you have the 10 Commandments?
Exactly. Alright, so I want to talk about
we are stepping into dangerous territory here.
Yes, we should
probably move on to
We're
another.
Going to talk about Valve.
Valve
and specifically Steam. So
all right. I want to start with what they have in their store.
Okay.
I find this really cool because they have in this last generation, we are a generation of ads. First it was telemarketing, and now that everyone and everything is online, almost everyone has a smartphone, almost everyone has connection to the internet in some way. Now ads are everywhere.
They're on your console.
If they're not in pop-ups anymore because we have pop-up blockers, they appear on a page. They pay websites so that they appear on a page. Not so much in your way, but they're there, like flashing all their lights and whatnot.
Do you go to a website occasionally where there is like the in-website pop-up ad?
Yeah.
That shit drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, get out of here. I don't care about this.
I hate that. But basically Steam came out and said we are never going to put ads on the store.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just awesome because they're like, because no one wants to see it. And I completely agree with them. I mean, I know that through statistics and everything, ads work. They really do, because we no one viewing this video, including Mike and I, can ever say that we haven't seen a YouTube ad pop up, and right as we're about to skip it, we get a little interested and we watch it. Correct?
Occasionally, yes.
I
but
have done.
9 times out of 10,
really-
it's something like, buy Welch's grape juice. It's made from real grapes. And I'm like, I don't care about Welch's grape
Why
juice.
did you say that so creepily?
Because
you
that's how
made
they
like
say
a really you made a really creepy face.
That's how they say it. Anyways,
Well,
I want to read
grape
this real quick.
Makes you think of those Pepperidge Farm commercials. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Anyways,
he always remembers.
yeah, we were so the guy they interviewed was specifically asked about Doritos for some reason, Doritos advertisement.
Okay.
And he says we don't see a case for that ever getting user value, and so we wouldn't do that. I don't think that those ever work either. To take it a step further, I don't think anybody buys Doritos as a result of that. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily true. That's contrary to what you just said. But he goes on and says, we tend to focus on long-term relationships. He added that advertisement programs of this nature actually cost money and create negative value in the eyes of the consumer. It would be a bad decision and let alone just dumb. So he's just like, it's just dumb. Ads don't serve our customers.
Now, his opinion, and essentially to the gaming community, is goes against the theory of there's no such thing as bad publicity, and it's true.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when we see these ads, we just want to skip them, even if the ad is good, even if we like, okay, I saw the ad, yay, and then you see it again in the next video, then you want to skip it. It just goes to show that like a negative connotation. And the best example I can think of is when my girlfriend and I are riding in my car, we hear this commercial for this absolutely terrible commercial for a car dealership.
Okay.
There have been like so many different iterations of it for Valentine's Day, for Christmas, for Halloween, and it's just awful. They're awful voice actors. It's really awful. And if you actually listen to the contents of the commercial, it's a really bad deal too.
It's really bad. It's not even a good deal.
It is. It's really bad. And at that point, usually when I'm in my car by myself and I hear it, I just turn the volume down, because it just, what that did is, if I ever run into that car dealership, I'm gonna flip them the bird for ruining so many car rides.
I'm just not going to purchase anything from them ever.
The reality is, for gamers, these ads all they just bug us.
Mm-hmm.
What are they gonna do? So kudos to him. Kudos to, not him so much, to them. Kudos to Valve for coming out and going like, you know what? We're going to be the anti-Microsoft, and we're going to take the ads out. Like,
do you want to know something interesting though? So Steam, as far as I know, is the biggest seller of PC gaming.
Okay.
But they also have competition. Obviously, they're not the only people that sell PC games.
Yeah.
But when it comes to console games, there's way less competition. You got Amazon, GameStop, a few miscellaneous websites, and then the respective stores. Yeah, GameFly. So you only have a handful there, whereas the PC market is much more wide and open. So you want to do as little as possible to piss your customers off and send them somewhere else.
Makes sense.
So, but on happier news, at least happier news for people that like to complain about things.
Yeah. I believe you had another thing about Valve aside from the ads.
That's what I'm getting to. The controller, the Steam controller, and it's
this is cool. Trackpad. This is a cool one.
Valve has listened, and they understand that people don't necessarily like the design of their controller, and so they are, from what I understand, looking to the community and seeing how the community reacts and interacts with this controller. And what they've said is, anytime we've let the community get involved in the construction, the creation, the modification of things we've created, it's always worked out fantastically. It's always better. It was always better. It would be utterly bizarre if for some reason that wasn't the case for hardware. So they take into consideration what people say, and they go,
as a gamer, publisher should.
Yes. And as any company, I feel, should. But they go on down here to say, the The article reads, the good news is that Steam users aren't quite pleased. Yeah, blah, 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 we already said that. And so what they said is, we want to empower the community to get to the point where the community starts doing these things. And by things, he means crowdsourcing the design, and then Steam would provide the components, like all the electronics and things internally. So what it says is, so things like creating a workshop for the form factor, meaning the shape of the controller, the design, the layout, we'll provide all the CAD files, which from what I understand would be the programming itself for the controller, so that it maps like A to A, X to X, you know what I mean? So if you want to get in there and start messing with things, long term, I think we'd like to sell you all of the electronics inside as a separate thing if you want to do that, because you want to go and build a completely different looking controller, but you don't want to have to worry about the electronics. So Valve is like, look, if you don't like our controller, then make your own. And they're
That's
not saying
awesome.
They're not saying it like an asshole either.
No,
like most
that's
companies
awesome.
are like, you know, like our controller sucks to be you, go buy a third party.
Like, see how well that goes and works for it. And you know what? They're right. I went and bought a third-party Xbox 360 controller, and it was I think I had two of them. I had a GameStop brand one, and I had this off-brand Tron one that had like light-up bars. And the Tron one, I would always look up, and then the other one, one of the joysticks just didn't work.
Dang. You got two faulty controllers.
Yeah, like, go buy third party. We'll be waiting here.
Yeah, like, we'll be waiting. Have
but
fun.
They're just like, no, you know what? Make your own. Like, and we're not being mean about it either.
To be fair, that the PC community is very much like that. A lot of PC gamers build their own computers and are very specific about customizing each and every individual piece. So,
as they should.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna use your computer for gaming, you're gonna want to make sure that it's like, if you're designing it yourself and you get access to those parts, I can't think of anyone who wouldn't want to make their computer like the top of the line.
My only question about this is, and it's from a business side, right? So this opens up Steam basically open sourcing their controllers. So it would open up, you know, let's say John starts building controllers and Joe starts building controllers. There's going to be Steam controllers fucking everywhere. Obviously, the market will, you know, eliminate the ones that are bad or shitty or don't work or, you know, whatever. But I feel like it could work for a lot of people, as, you know, you don't like the Steam controller. John built one that you like the design of. You buy it. It fits in your hand well. You like it. You tell other people, and then they buy John's controller instead of the Steam controller. So maybe...
I get what you're saying, yeah.
The only thing I think is I don't want it... I'm hoping that when Valve does this, it doesn't kill their controller. You know what I mean?
I don't know. The way I think about this is that they have a bunch of people. I mean, Valve's a big company. For you know, if you don't know, they've produced a lot of games for consoles other than just Steam, and I'm sure they have people with far more bigger brains at business than Mike or I.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that they have thought about that, and I'm sure that their design of their controller is very neutral. And when I say that, I mean the buttons aren't too hard to reach. The features of it are really close by. And I'm going to think of this as sort of the base for people to branch out from. I think that the controller will be good if you just don't care.
Yeah, if you're not specific about it.
Exactly. But for those people that are really like about their every little piece of everything, then yeah, they'll make their own
buying the Elite controllers.
Yeah, but I don't think that their normal controller is going to die out. I don't think that at all.
Okay. But to be fair, if it does die out, they could just compensate by selling the parts, like they said.
Oh yeah.
So
definitely.
I mean, like the controller, I forget how much the controller was when I looked at it. I think it's like $50 or $60. It's like average price for a controller.
Yeah.
But they could parts out, you know, the thing, and all the parts for the controller could be reasonably probably $40. Would be my guess, to buy everything except for the shell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So That would be something I wouldn't be surprised to see, because you can go online and buy parts and pieces for controllers and build a whole controller if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
For like $40, but it's not gonna save you that much money. So what's the point? But I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic.
It's okay. No, we're fine. We are not going too far off course.
I'm just very interested in it.
We went over. Did we go over YouTube yet?
No, we did not.
We did not. Okay. For those of you that aren't addicted to the internet, like the majority of America, no, it's serious. Go into any social place and you will just see everyone. This is a phone, by the way.
Yeah, you don't use Facebook much, but I saw this video on Facebook earlier because I was scrolling through, and you know how Facebook is. You don't. It automatically plays videos when you scroll through. And it was like, the tagline was like, people addicted to their phones. And this guy in Japan or China, I'm not quite sure, but he's on his phone, right? And he's at McDonald's, and the cashier hands out his ice cream to him, right? And I kid you not, this dude's looking at his phone, grabs the very top, just the ice cream, and then just walks away. It doesn't stop at all. It's just, and I'm like, and the cashier's just like, why?
Right. Oh, we're getting a little off track. I was using it as an analogy
Segue.
of for those of you that are not addicted to the internet, YouTube now has a specific part of their website dedicated to gaming, specifically game streaming. It's Mike's words, a Twitch competitor.
Yes.
Which I think, Twitch does pretty well, and I'm sure this will attract a lot of people, particularly the gaming YouTubers will use it a lot.
It's easier than jumping platforms.
Exactly. It's nice to just work with one system.
Keep your paychecks in one area.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
And what are the changes?
What are the changes? Well, they updated.
Yeah, you know more about this than I.
They updated the app, the YouTube gaming app, and what it does now is the app can use on Android. I have to be specific. On Android, you can use the front. It'll record your front-facing camera while simultaneously recording gameplay on your phone. No extra software needed, so it's just you push an overlaying button like Facebook Messenger, and it starts recording and streaming, like right then and there.
I think that's cool.
It's very interesting.
I myself wouldn't use it unless you guys want to see me play word search when I'm waiting in line at Chipotle. But I'm pretty confident that this will absolutely destroy your battery. Absolutely annihilate it. Beat it with a hammer. It's not getting back up.
I would use it for, like, if I had a tablet, I would use it.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
I don't think I'd ever use it on my phone. Like, it would just destroy my phone. Granted, the camera on my phone's okay, but...
Michael, you don't need help destroying your phone.
Oh, I know. But getting into more specifically what it does is they added some different things when it comes to payments. You can now donate to streamers, or you can pay a monthly subscription for extra perks like a special badge that appears next to your name in the chat, and subscription only chats. So people that subscribe to a channel would be able to specifically see when you do private chats. And so that subscription is $4 a month, or roughly $4 a month wherever you are in the world. They tried to make it synonymous everywhere.
And I think that's pretty nice. That's pretty cheap. I think a lot of people could afford $4 a month.
Yeah. And to be fair, when you think about somebody that has when somebody has like 1 million subscribers, probably 50,000,
like Markiplier,
500,000
10 million subscribers.
Yeah. Well, subscribers and view count along with active members are always different. So,
Michael's smart.
I've read way too much into YouTube. Anyway, so like say somebody has 50,000 subscribers for the streaming out of their total subscribers. So 50,000 at $4 a month. It's a lot of money.
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
50,000 times 4.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. Granted, YouTube probably takes a decent chunk. They probably take 60%, if I have to guess.
Right.
But
I mean,
still,
even that, you'll still be making a pretty penny.
you're still making a good amount of money. So for the people that are higher up, this is great for them. It's an extra revenue stream, because what YouTube's problem is, I've seen, and I hate getting like into politically, but this is relative and why I believe they're doing this, is that people use YouTube to, gain public interest, and then they'll go and act, or they'll go get into gaming, like the gaming industry as like a journalist, or they'll go into gaming development and things like that. So
Yeah.
YouTube's trying to keep YouTubers on YouTube. They don't want to lose those people there.
Which makes sense. I think
Yeah.
that's pretty good. They don't want to lose the people that are making them money.
Exactly. Makes sense.
So basically, it's just makes it easier for you to stream mobile gaming.
Yes.
For those of us who still have a really old version of Flappy Bird.
I don't know. By the way, I don't know if this is coming to iOS at any time. It doesn't say anything about an iOS release,
Well,
which I find to be weird.
most serious PC gamers or mobile gamers don't mobile game on an iPhone.
Maybe true, but the iPhone does have not more robust, but I feel more solid games. And I had an iPhone, so I feel like, because on Android it's just copies of everything everywhere. It's just ridiculous. This is like
You and I
shit
could
copy.
fight over this for a long time, so we are gonna leave this here.
All right,
We're gonna set it down, and we're not gonna come back to this
I'm just gonna walk
because
away.
we will fight. Okay. Now, Witcher 3. Now, to start, this is another thing similar to Valve, how Valve kind of came out and said, we're not putting ads in our store, Steam, Valve Steam, same thing. We're not putting ads in our store. Witcher 3 was talking about their success, and how the Witcher 3, what was the sales figure, Mike? You said they sold something for
8 million in 6 weeks, or 6 million in 6 weeks. I'm trying to find it. 6 million in 6 weeks. So $1 million a week.
Wow, that is a
first 6
lot.
weeks.
That's a lot, and I am personally not a Witcher player, but Michael has told me that it's quite has quite a length to it.
Yeah, it's quite a heavy game. But
and you if you want, you can go ahead and say it.
okay. So, the reason I picked out this article specifically to highlight The Witcher is not so much about The Witcher's success or their recent expansion. It's that he talks on the success of the game, which we've talked about before, but the way he talks about the success of the game relative to the gaming industry. So, what he had said is that we're still amazed at how many people played The Witcher 3 because its game style. It is a game style that is usually reserved for hardcore audiences. People actually loved it, especially more in the casual audience, which we're really impressed with. So people on both ends of the spectrum that like to go really deep down the rabbit hole with games and play games like Fallout and Far Cry and Elder Scrolls played that, while people that play Call of Duty played The Witcher. So they're totally different spectrums, And he went on to say that he thinks the success of The Witcher 3 illustrates that games don't necessarily need multiplayer or microtransactions to be hits.
The big thing here was that he basically said that they do it in like the old way, like when we when we had a PS2 or any console really that did not really do much online or had no online to it at all. You would go buy a game, you'd play it, and you'd enjoy
Was it?
No, there were no microtransactions, no DLC, no expansions, and the really interesting thing here is that the DLCs that The Witcher has released or were released for The Witcher are free, and they have their first expansion. Is it out already?
Yes, yes it is. And it is the expansion itself. Interestingly enough, I only know this because I've seen it. It comes on a disc. You can buy it physically if you want on a disc.
Now, this is what's really interesting. He managed. Now, the expansion is not free, so it may seem like he's contradicting himself, but he's not, because the expansion doesn't really attribute much to the story, and you don't need it to play through the whole game.
No,
Unlike,
go ahead.
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, you're fine. Go for it.
What it is, from what my understanding is that the expansion Hearts of Stone is a different perspective, and by that I mean it's some things that happen in between other things. I don't think it's a necessarily, from what I understand, because I haven't beaten it, so I don't know, is that at the Witcher 3 ends, and that is the end of Geralt. Not that he dies, but it's just the end of his story. His story is done.
Yeah.
So I have to assume that Hearts of Stone is either a prequel or something along the lines of things going on in The Witcher 3 in between elements and stories.
And this just makes me think. So basically, you don't need it to still get a good experience out of the game.
You can completely understand.
It is a fully optional expansion. Unlike, and I hate to bring it up because we talk about it a lot. Unlike in Destiny, where if you don't buy the DLC, you cannot get past the previous level cap. Mm-hmm. Like if you do not have the Taken King, you can't get past level 34.
I have a question. Hypothetically, if someone were to buy core Destiny, right? Just if they bought regular Destiny.
Okay.
Just Destiny is by itself. And then they bought the Taken King DLC.
No. I already know what you're going to ask me. They do not have access to Crota or House Wolves.
No. I know that. I'm just saying, but then what would be the point of buying, you know what I mean? But they also get you because the game is $20 and the Taken King is $40, so it costs you $60, so you might as well buy the Taken King edition. They get you all the DLC for $60.
Yeah.
So you're kind of shit out of luck either way you go on that one.
Yeah. The Taken King edition lets you automatically level up to the point of playing through the Taken King, and this was their attempt to, and it's been done before. World of Warcraft does it a lot, where with their new release of their game, they want people to join in Destiny. They want more people to come by, but no one's going to want to play if they're like, oh yeah, let's go do the King's Fall raid. Well, I can't. I'm level 2. I just got the game.
Exactly.
So the whole point of the Taken King edition was to give you that whatever thing of light, and it let you instantly level up to level 25, so that you could go and play the Taken King instantly with your friends. And what Bungie said, I remember, was like, we encourage you to go back and play through the first story and play through the Dark Below and House of Wolves, but we understand that a lot of gamers are buying this game because their friends are playing it, and they want to play with their friends, and they can't if they're busy spending the first 2 months of playing Destiny trying to complete the first story, the Dark Below, and House of Wolves.
To be fair, if I added up all of my playtime from all of the story missions back to back, I would probably say I've probably only spent 40 hours in total, maybe. The original campaign of Destiny I can run through in 4 hours.
But I wasn't talking about taking 2 months of gameplay. I was talking about just over 2 months where people have jobs or have school,
yes, I know.
And they can't play it. I wasn't talking about they need to. I don't think there's any game big enough that you need 2 months of game time to get all the way.
I'm saying though, just in general, you can sit down with Destiny for 2 hours. If you sat down with Destiny for 2 hours, hypothetically, if you played 8 hours a week, you'd be done with the main story in a week.
Yeah,
you'd be done with the first 2 expansions in the second week, and the Taken King halfway through the third week.
Yeah,
the game's just not long.
It's just, but there are a lot of quests for each one, and trying to complete Skolas, Elder Ciphers, and but we're branching way farther into Destiny. I just wanted to use it as it.
I would like to segue this because there's something specific to Destiny that I read that I would like to talk about.
Oh, really?
Have you seen the it's not a reforge. I think it's called Fatal Twist on the exotic armor.
No.
It is similar to reforging weapons. You remember how reforging works? Or no?
Isn't it like you reset the perks?
It would reset the perks. It would let you get different perks and different stats and different values. Like,
is that That stuff you buy from Xur?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. The crystals, the glass crystals or whatever.
Yeah.
Glass needles or something like that.
Right.
There's something glass. But the point is that it does not do what I initially had thought, and a lot of people had thought, is the way it sounded when you read it is that it would re-roll the perks. It does not do that. It only re-rolls like your intelligence, your strength, or your discipline. And it's extremely expensive to get it. It costs 3 motes of light, 3 strange coins, and a exotic shard.
That is ridiculous.
Yes, and it doesn't really do anything. I mean, if you're one of those players, though, that is very specific about, well, I want my intellect to always be this high.
Yeah, I don't think there are many players like that.
Only the really, really hardcore ones, and it really only matters for Crucible. It only matters that people that are like hardcore in Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris, where all of your stuff actually makes a difference. But like when you're just playing PvP, whatever, it's not going to be a big deal. No.
Yeah. Okay. No more Destiny.
That's all. I just wanted to talk about that because I wanted to clarify it for the people that do play, because I didn't know until this afternoon when I read that.
All right. But anyway, that's really all the info we have for today. This was one of our longer podcasts. We really went into detail in a lot of these, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. We're just spending time with you guys.
I like spending time with people.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. No one lets you out of your cage very often. Check us out on fanboysofgaming.com for all of your latest gaming news. We got a group on Facebook. Go check us out there if you want to find other fans of gaming. My name is Christopher.
I'm Michael.
And we'll see you in the next one.